Something's wrong with these designs. Not sure what it is. Can't quite put my finger on it. This is part 2 of the 4x5 large format camera build series. Here is a link to part 1 where I go over the requirements. Part 2 will go over the first phase of the design process. But first I needed to head off to the hardware store to research brass fittings like these here. These are threaded brass inserts. And of course stainless steel. Who doesn't love beautiful stainless steel? And some brass thumb screws which I may use. I was just researching what was out there and available. The sizes weren't quite right. I need something with a bigger knob, so I might have to order something online. And I may need some rivets. So I was looking to see what rivets were available. I also realized that I need a drill press to manufacture some of these parts. I mean, I don't really need a drill press, but you know what I mean. It was on sale, and then on sale again later that day. And I noticed that they gave me 2 stands, so I had to go back and return it. But I got a few dollars off the entire purchase and returned the extra stand. I don't really have drawing skills, so instead I thought I would enlist the power of artificial intelligence to help me design this camera. Let's give it a shot. We'll try this again, and this time make sure we include the word camera. Not too bad. These are just weird. I can't tell what's actually happening here. Look at the bellows, and then there's like a little camera attached to the side. Mid-journey isn't bad. That guy seems to appreciate it. Time to get serious though, so I ended up using SketchUp, which is a CAD program, just to help me get a sense of scale for each of the elements and also do all the layout and parts placement. So the rear standard is hinged, has a little pivot there and then a slotted guide to keep it in position. It will close and sit just on top of those adjustment knobs. This is an exploded view of the rear of the camera. This is the camera back here. It sits in this frame. And it's held in place by these brass pins that have these little clips that will engage once you insert this back into the rear standard frame. Notice there's 2 pins on the side. These are there to allow you to rotate the back. So if you're doing portrait versus landscape mode, you can just unclip the back, turn it, and then reclip it in a different orientation. And the ground glass frame is the very rear part of the camera. And this is specially designed to allow you to focus the camera. So these are stainless steel pins that will sit here. They'll engage into this rail, this basically this strip of spring steel that will hold it in place. It's not to scale these holes, this slot isn't quite right, but essentially the spring steel will hold these pins and this entire frame inside this void here. So they'll sit in this slot right here. And this measurement here is actually very precise. The thickness here of this little shim is 5 millimeters, and it's actually exactly ish within a millimeter of what the film plane would be with the film holder. So it's essentially simulating the focus plane of the film with the glass. Right, so how does the gear work? So one of the challenges here is we need to be able to focus the front lens. And by focusing it, you're actually moving this back and forth. So these two sides are fixed, but the center portion will actually slide back and forth. And the way it does that is these gears are embedded in the slide itself. And then there is a shaft that turns a gear. And the gear is engaged with these and the gear is engaged with the track. So you can't see the teeth in the gears, but you get an idea here of what it looks like. So there's the shaft, goes all the way to those gears. This is the knob that will turn it. This will be the focus knob itself. And then on the other side, there is the focus lock, which I haven't figured out how I'm going to do this yet. The function of the focus lock is you tighten this down and it prevents this whole slide from moving. Once you've focused and are ready to swap the film holder in replacement of the ground glass, you want to be able to make sure that nothing moves at that point. It may not be a big deal, but I think we'll have this knob do something useful. I'm not sure how this is going to work yet. It could just be threaded, and as you tighten it, it pulls this whole rod to the side, which would just jam it up a little bit, and that may be enough. I'm not actually sure how they work. The basic function is we just want it to, as you tighten it, this shaft should just not be able to move. So that's something that I'm still working out at this point. All right, the front standard is designed to have a full range of movement. So we can do shift here with this slot here and this set knob. Then we have rise and fall with this slot on the side and this knob. We can also do tilt with the same knob, just loosening it up. You'll have slide adjustment or rise and fall adjustment as well as tilt. So that should be enough. The only thing I don't like about this setup here is that it's one brass piece and I have to do two bends here, and I'd rather not do the bends and then try to mill these surfaces. So what I think I'll probably do is end up having three distinct pieces. So the vertical pieces will be two separate units, and then we'll have a horizontal piece that'll have the bend, and then we'll just attach the verticals to this horizontal piece. So I'm still working that design out, but that should be the easiest way to do that. But lastly, the bottom of the camera will need tripod mounts, and they're typically a 1/4 inch thread or a 3/8. I might put both in just in case the tripod supports either one. It'd be nice to be able to just have them just work. And I'm not sure what to do on here if I just use threaded inserts. They might wear out, and if I make them brass, I'm not sure if that's going to work either. They might have to be a steel, like a stainless or something, but that's to be decided. I think if you're really careful with it, it might work just as brass, but I might make a plate back here for added durability, but I can also just put threaded inserts and be done. So pretty much it for this project here. Well, I hope this project is making some sense. I feel a lot more sure about what I'm building now after doing some layout and some design work. So next up, within the next 2 weeks, I'll share the next video in this series, which will go over the actual implementation and building aspects. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.